Welcome to Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Meringolo, joined by Kevin Ricca.
For the exact amount of Victory Tuesday celebration we had in 2023. We're up to 4, fellas.
We're up to 4. We're missing T tonight. He will be back on the scene next Tuesday. He's also going to be joining us live on Saturday afternoon down at Gonzaga High School. We'll be broadcasting the Gonzaga-DeMatha game. More on that on our social media stuff. But we hope to see you there. Welcome Ken Harris, J-Dubs, EO, Brad Ripito, all the guys who are hanging out with us tonight. We'll get to some more names as we go through. I'm just so excited because 4 in a row, a 4-game winning streak in the first 5 weeks of the season. We're 4-1. How about this?
Tell me something good.
Let's just throw this right up on. There you go. There's your current standings in the NFC East. The Washington Commanders.
Read me something good.
4-1.
I love it.
Everyone else worse. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants. Ain't nobody scared of those guys. The Washington Commanders are. It's crazy the manner in which the world has gone off the deep end on these guys, and I love it. I love watching everyone get excited about our team, and everyone's getting incredibly excited.
They're losing their shit.
They're losing their freaking minds. Everything's the first time it's ever been. I mean. It's been new to us now for about a year. We're the year 2 AD. We've been without the previous regime now. This is our second year there. We got to have a new coach, a new GM, a new quarterback, a new owner, and over half the roster's new. It is a new era for Washington Commanders football, and a lot of people are buying into it outside of the Beltway. But it's for us. I mean, and I just like to dispel the idea. I hate when I hear bickering amongst fans. I know we talked a little bit about this before.
Who's bickering?
People are like, people want to compare their fandom. You know, everything has to be a competition. I was there for this. I was there for. God, it doesn't matter. I mean, the whole purpose of this team being good is for us to get together and enjoy it together, and hopefully snowball this thing back into what we grew up doing, which was, you know, like this team being completely, fully back to. On Sundays, you know, for those who go to church, you go to church on Sunday morning, and then you watch the Redskins in the afternoon, and that's Sunday. There is no kids have games. No one has any other plans. That's what we did, and I like to think that's what we'll do again. And with this team and with what they're doing, with what they're building in our community, I think that is exactly the path that we're charting.
And if you have a horrible pastor, it doesn't mean you don't go to church.
It's true.
So,
it's true.
I mean.
That's right. We still went to church. We still watched the games. We still did all those things for the last 20 years, and we're still standing. Washington Commanders laid one on Cleveland, and you know what? I can't help but feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for Cleveland. I feel bad for Cleveland fans. 3 first-round picks, 6 overall total picks, $230 million guaranteed to a quarterback that had issues. I mean, capital I issues. He's got the lowest quarterback rating in the league amongst eligible passers. He just doesn't look good. And
oh no!
And if that's and you're not just married to the guy. I mean, this is you're in a jail cell with the guy. I mean, you're not getting out of this.
I mean, it seems like this is like, you know, deserved. The prime punishment that he's the most sacked. I mean, for God's sake.
That's right.
I mean, for God's sake. You
the
know,
most sacked team in the league.
By far. I mean, our sack watch was at 29 at this point last year. Now we're at 12. Excellent news on sack watch.
I was hoping T was going to be here. I even put together a little something for that. I mean, obviously,
I've got I'm all, you know what I mean? Sack watch.
I know. You're.
I've got you in my sights.
I learned by watching you.
This is terrible.
But the 12 sacks through 5 games.
Where's T when you need him? I overdid it on sack watch, and now I got to deal with it.
What's up, Greg Martin? AGH Manor speaking. What's up, guys? The Keegan in the house. I do feel for him, but it just reminds me of the kind of things that happen to us. It used to happen to us all the time. We went through that stuff.
No one in Cleveland was saying like, "Oh, poor Redskin fans." They were like, "Shove it up your butts."
I'm trying. I don't know. It's still so fresh. I do feel not. I mean, I wanted to score 1 billion points against them, you know, on Sunday, and I loved. I mean, this game wasn't close. It wasn't competitive. The fourth quarters of games in 2 weeks in a row now have been just let's run the mercy clock.
And the last athlete in DC that could show up with his B game and we dominate was Max Scherzer. So I'm telling you, Jaden did not play an A+ game. Well, he's an A+ guy, but I love that he can come out there and have his B set, skill set, and
still make huge plays.
And still go nuts. Because I mean, he wasn't bad at all. But all I'm saying is that seemed to me like that wasn't his best stuff, and he somehow managed how to get through 7 innings, and he got to sit the last few out though.
The cool thing
that was pretty sweet. It's been a while.
Well, we finally benched our rookie quarterback was like a common thing, and they're like, hey, and we knew it was going to happen at some point. The stat they were trotting out the Jim Schwartz. I mean, Jim Schwartz has done very well. The Schwartz is strong with Jim against rookie quarterbacks. Dak Prescott in 2016, the last rookie to beat a Jim Schwartz defense.
I love Greg Olson, but he was Schwartzing the shit out of us. I was like, holy shit,
your
man.
Schwartz is bigger than mine. I think that he is. I liked the one thing that I thought was good is you could tell that the way that they were playing the defense, they were noticing Jaden Daniels is getting the ball out right away on his first read, sometimes the second read, and if they could take that one first read away and turns out Jaden Daniels isn't going to be stopped by taking his first read away.
That was for 4 minutes.
That was like for 4 minutes. That's correct.
And he started off a little shaky. That's going to happen, but
can he be stopped on 4th down? Can you stop Jaden Daniels on 4th down?
There's going to have to be some weird snap. There's going to have to be it's going to have to be self-induced.
That was like a flag. He's like a flag football quarterback on 4th down, and he just gets away from everybody and makes the play on his legs.
He was the best athlete on the field when he was on the field. There was no doubt about that. I mean, Koromoso, Wusu, whatever. He is an incredible athlete.
Yep.
He was made to look silly on multiple times in space.
It was like Jordan.
He's coming after him as fast as he can. At one point, he came untouched on the big play, on the big, huge play to Terry. He comes free off the edge, barreling downhill 8 million miles an hour, crashes into his own dude, who was being blocked by the only lineman there. So that was fortuitous. It was for the best play of the season.
The hand of Jordan, just ever so gently throwing what's his name? Later became a Washington Wizard. Damn it. The guard for the Utah Jazz will come up.
Byron Russell.
Byron Russell. Just saying, and then I mean, when you see the guy with the big old helmet rolling around on the ground. I mean, Jaden Daniels ran for a while. He threw the bomb to De'Ami Brown. I know everyone's been talking about the communication between him and Cliff Kingsbury on the play that he ran out of bounds. You still got to throw one on the money with this much room on the sidelines. I mean, it's just so precise.
He throws the most beautiful deep ball. It is always to the outside. It is always away from danger. It's always right where it's supposed to. The one he dropped in on Terry McLaurin was an absolute dime piece, and Terry juggled it and dropped it a little bit. All right, well, he dropped it a lot, but it would have been a difficult catch. Yeah. But that thing was placed. They just keep dropping nose down, absolute dimes directly into the hands of receivers. And I'm telling you what, man, it is special to watch. We are watching a spectacularly gifted athlete wearing burgundy and gold after 5 weeks. There's no fluke here. I think now we know why we got RG3. We understood those were the dangers, that some of the characteristics, not all. This guy's got everything polished up. Every corner of the house is spick and span. And I mean, the lawn's mowed, crisscross, and everything. He's got all his dots. It's remarkable that he showed up at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. so he could get his weightlifting in and films before everyone got there, so he wouldn't be a distraction in everyone's way. I mean, they say you get there early and you come earlier so to not be a distraction. Come on, dude. We have a special talent on our hands.
They knew what they were getting and they got it. The thing about his running that I think is awesome is that still the majority of his yards through on the ground are from scrambles. I mean, they are calling running plays, and he is tucking and running on certain plays, but they're not using him really as a running back. Most of his rushing yards are coming on scrambles, but I mean, they're probably in some regard like on 4th and 4, and he runs for whatever it was, 20, 30 yards. Yeah, sure, that's a scramble, but at some point, he's also the ball's in the hands of your best player, and he's going to just go out and make something happen.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
and the ball's in the hands of maybe the best player the ball's ever we've had put the hands in. Balls in the hand. There's so many balls in hands. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We've
Sack
never had a guy
watches,
like
balls in
this.
hands.
We have never had a guy like. I don't care.
Yeah.
We've never had a guy like this. I can't imagine the run pass threat being so extreme. Oh my gosh, he's
first
a
in the
great
league.
passer.
Still first in the league in completion percentage by 5 percentage
Is he at
points.
77?
Is it 77?
By the way, they were 1 of
Point
13 on third downs. I just saw the board.
Yeah,
1 of 13.
That was, and it came late.
Before Ken puts up the what are they called?
I'm going to put team stats up, but we're not going to do snap counts this week. We're going to do, let's do the
If
team
you're going to
stats.
do that, may I have some whiskey?
Yeah,
Please and thank
please.
you.
Yes, absolutely. Here we go. Let's take off the, let's take this guy off, and let's put this guy up. Let's close out this Browns discussion. We're killing the league in overall snaps. We're one of the league leaders in offensive plays. We run a hell of a lot of them. We stay on the field. Once again, we own time of possession against Cleveland. 1 for 13 is what we gave up on third down. Now, we were not effective initially on third down, and I think that's what you see there in that 8 for 17. It's also telling there was 17 third downs. We also closed out an additional 2 of those drives with fourth down conversions. So really, only a few of those drives ended without with a little Tress Way action. 434 total yards. We got it done on the ground with 200 plus yards.
Again.
Through the air, 200 plus yards.
4 TDs on the ground.
So that which is, by the way, I got a little something here for you.
Sorry.
No.
Excited.
I got, let's see,
all very
where are we at?
exciting.
First in rushing TDs, we have 13 touchdowns. The Saints are in second at number 9. Ravens, I believe, are in third at 5. 13 rushing touchdowns. Some teams won't rush for 13 touchdowns all season long. I think last year we had 14. Something like that. So the fact that we have 13 rushing touchdowns through 5 weeks is kind of a big deal. It is the culmination of so many scoring drives. We get these guys down. And the interesting thing about the fact that we have 13 rushing touchdowns is it's not like we're handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, who you would just expect to get into the end zone all the time. We have 4 guys. We have Jaden Daniels is running it in. Brian
He's
Robinson
got
Jr. is
4.
running it
I
in.
think B-Rob has 5, maybe 6.
Austin Eckler has a chance, and
rushing.
Jeremy McNichols
3
has
rushing.
3. So these are all players that are contributing to the rushing touchdown phenomenon. We get these guys close, they get into the end zone.
Well, also, let's talk about that O-line, because my man Tyler Biadasz was a badass. He was a badass.
He
this
sure
week.
was.
He is so athletic. How many times can you take your center and run him double gaps down and lead up into the hole and have him make the seal block? This dude is an animal. When he
stands up the seal block, it's so cool.
He is such a badass, dude. I love it. I love
he's
watching
doing
him
it
play
against
ball.
big guys.
Do you know how lucky we are that he came along with Dan Quinn? I just love that he decided to come here for 3 years, because that is the type of cat that has changed the outlook of our offensive line. I know Cosby's been a dude, and we got him back. Wiley stepped up his game, but dude, the guys that we brought in here have been absolutely tremendous, and I love it. I love the fact that we get to watch Biadasz and Andretti get out there and get after it, because both of them play hard as shit. Allegretti. I say it wrong every time.
Destroyed Myles Garrett on a. He was occupied by Brandon Coleman, but still,
it's a peel off. Who cares?
That's right. We talk about the blocking up front, the offensive line, and again, I think they've been such a punchline for so long. We've been decimated on the offensive line, and I'm sure we're going to have injuries there this year. Everyone does. They get beat to hell on every single play. You got to expect some nicks here and there, but they're top 5, I believe, in run block efficiency and top 10 in pass block efficiency. These guys are above average, well above average, at the top of the league in both of these categories. Everything that we're doing absolutely is being done because of their ability to block.
And everyone's improvement offensively across the board is due to the fact that number 5 is on our team. Mm-hmm. He makes everyone better for some reason or another, whether it's off field, on the field. He is someone that, listen, there's 12 sacks for a reason. He's elusive as shit. You're not just sitting in the pocket that's getting nailed. This guy makes everything easier in that scramble game and jacks up that yards per rush. But it's what spreads the field open. It's why Cliff Kingsbury deserves a shout out. The way we're using every inch of the field and the way we're using each one of our guys to the best talents that they possess. I'm so tickled. We have a damn good football team.
20th most sacks.
No one's great. We're not great.
No, I'm saying like we're bottom third.
Right,
We're
yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean that you would call that the top third. You know, the 20th amount. 12 puts us squarely in the top third of the league in terms of offensive line giving up sacks. And that's a position that only gets if they stay healthy and they stay together. It only gets better as the season goes on.
I mean, we were handing out sacks. Like, go ahead, fill it in.
T.
Yeah,
T.
He's not here.
He's
like T. Strachan at the
prom night. I always like to go like T on prom night. But
I knew you'd fill it in, Ken. Sorry, T-Bird.
Let's see. The second highest rushing offense in the league at 892 yards. The number one rushing offense in the league?
Baltimore.
1056. This matchup, by the way, as we kind of transition to talking about the Ravens, Redskins, and we can mix back in with Cleveland stuff, is that these two teams are in many respects two of the better teams in the league right now. Obviously, you got Kansas City, you have Minnesota, you have a couple other these teams that people think highly of, but right this very second, Washington and Baltimore is a matchup of two of the best teams in the league right now in Week 6. And it bears out in the stats. So second, two rushing offenses, the two top rushing offenses. Ravens have 5 rushing touchdowns to our 13. Total touchdowns though, the Ravens score a lot of them. They're the number one team in total touchdowns at 18. Washington number 2 at 17.
That's why. Did you see points?
Oh, I mean, you're talking about two teams who score a shitload of points.
Number one, and number two. And
That's
we're
right.
number one. We're number one in points at 31 a game. No one else in the NFL is over 30. Let that sink in for 1 second. How in the shit did we get here, EO? What, I mean, what? How in the hell? How do we get here? Well, all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, my hosting a playoff game prediction is almost like it'd be a disappointment. We haven't had an 11-win season since 1991, boys. And I'm just saying. There's plenty of W's in the future right in front of us.
Absolutely, and Jaden is the 5th highest quarterback rating in the league. Lamar is the 4th highest quarterback rating in the league. Where things start to I think get interesting for us. Oh, and I didn't want to let it go that both Austin Eckler and Jeremy McNichols are averaging over 7 yards a carry in our backfield. Now, obviously. Austin Eckler's had some big ones. Jeremy McNichols has also had some tough. He comes in and gets some tough runs against some tired defenders. I don't envy the defenders who have to bring him down in the 4th quarter. But over 7 yards for both of the other two backs that aren't named Brian Robinson Jr. That's pretty special. And then you still aren't, and that doesn't also account for the fact that Jane Daniels is also rushing for more than that. But Kevin, I got this one for you. I think you'll like it. Where are we at? On defense, this is where it gets interesting. Ravens have the number 1 rushing defense in the league. However, their passing defense, dead last.
I know, 280 yards they give up per game, and that's only because of the sack yardage, because it's Lamar's thrown for over 300. And less than 60, which is concerning, because what's concerning about the Ravens is what the complementary football we talked about all summer that Dan Quinn said he was bringing to us, that he freaking has. Stop the run the ball, stop the run. Run the ball, stop the run. Well, number 1 in the NFL in running the ball, Baltimore Ravens. Number 1 in stopping the run, Baltimore the effing Ravens. So
I know
there is something to be said for this matchup. There's some other craziness there too, Ken.
Ooh.
The number 1 wide receiver for each team.
Okay. Number 1 wide receiver, Terry McLaurin.
And Zay Flowers.
I love Zay Flowers. He's so much fun.
One has 24, Zay. One has 23 receptions. Running back receiving yards, 218 to 219. There's all these weird ass things when you get into the top 2 leading rushers as quarterbacks by far and away. Most both top 5 in most first downs. Like we could just see here all day. This matchup, this is the best matchup that I can ever remember as a Redskin fan. Quarterback versus quarterback. Obviously non-playoffs. I'm talking about regular season
Brad
matchup.
Johnson versus Troy Aikman.
I mean, so I thought RG3 and Romo Thanksgiving, but it's not this.
No.
There's no MVP involved. I mean, come on.
Mark Sanchez versus Eli Manning.
And by the way, RG3 and Tony Romo, Cowboys were 5-5. We were 5-6. So who gives a shit? It was just Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So we did. But no one else in the NFL could have given a crap, especially the way they do now. This Baltimore team's scary as hell, but Joe Burrow didn't seem to think so, and they're going to have their hands full with another LSU quarterback in the second week.
Yeah.
They got to be scared as hell of us because they haven't exactly been lighting it up this year. That 6.5 is egregious. I might have to come out of retirement, and then I'll cause us to lose, so I won't. But I've thought about it.
I remember a year, I believe it was 06. It was Joe Gibbs, middle of Joe Gibbs' tenure. Clinton Portis was the running back. Jason Campbell was the quarterback. We traveled north to Baltimore. We were 6-2-ish. We were coming off of a great front half of the season. Everything broke down for us.
You lost me at Jason Campbell at quarterback.
But it was one of the coldest games. I went up to Baltimore. I was in the stands to watch this game. The second coldest game I've ever been to. It was unbelievably cold. And it was one of those games where we had a really good record. I mean, we were probably tops in the NFC East. I believe we had 6 wins. We were rolling. And we got there was a full stop. I mean, we got stopped hard. Because I remember thinking like, okay, we're good and we're playing a good team. This is going to be great. I love this to watch. If we think what we think we are, if we think we're good, I'd love to see us have a chance to do it against a good team. Didn't work out so well that day. But the thing about this matchup this week is once again, we think we're good. We know we're going up against a good team, but the way we match up, interestingly to me, as we talk about what the Ravens do well and what they don't do well, is this the week that Jaden Daniels goes, for example, over 300 passing yards?
I'm more worried about our defense.
Sure.
But sure he could. I mean, listen.
They're going to have to throw more
But
than they have been.
And people are abandoning the run against this Ravens defense because they're giving up nothing. And to be fair, they're pretty badass against the run. And
I don't want Jaden to get hit by Roquan Smith.
Well, shit,
I just
no one
don't
wants to
want
get hit by Roquan Smith. But I can see Jaden definitely throwing for 300 this week. I don't know. That doesn't have to be a good or bad thing. That's a functionality of what we're going up against.
That's right.
We take what we can get. But you know what? When teams like this meet, it's the perfect playoff scenario. We run the ball and stop the run too. This is our formula also. We also have a quarterback that can elude the shit out of your defense and make plays in the pocket. And if you watch NFL football last week as a regular fan and see this matchup coming up, you watched Lamar Jackson make one of the plays of the year, drop the ball on the ground, double stiff arm the captain of the defense, Hubbard, to his back, then throw the ball as jumping out of bounds for a touchdown to Likely. Then you saw our guy sprinting around edge, avoiding Koromusu, who ran into his own dude, and flicked the ball effortlessly 60 yards on the money to Terry McLaurin. Those are two guys that's a different level of offense. There's many, many teams in this NFL that do not have that in the playbook or the scratch book or the screw it all. Just go play ball.
It makes me feel...
It doesn't exist in many franchises. It now exists in spades right here, ours.
It makes me feel so weird about loving Sam Howell as much as I did last year. And that's how bad... That's how downtrodden we are. Now, I love Sam Howell. I hope he has a career in the league. I hope he plays for Seattle. I hope great things for him. But when he came in last year and he started throwing the ball and he did it in a way that Taylor Heineke wasn't doing it and Carson Wentz wasn't doing it, all that other stuff, and we won some games. He beat Dallas to close out his season, and we all were like, okay, we'll take this. We'll take it. I mean, it was like a we'll take it. At the same time, we got excited about it, but it is not. It's like... Wait, that was only a year ago.
We never knew.
We never knew
we could date in this bracket. We never knew. We never knew we could have someone so gorgeous. We never gave ourselves. We didn't have the confidence as fans. After 25 years of just being abused, downtrodden by that dirty little man.
Just happy to be.
Oh, that dirty little man. But guess what? He's gone. And we've got a franchise. We've got so much to be excited about. And it's not a one-man crew at all. But the cherry on top has made the whole ice cream dish taste even better. This is remarkable to me. I can't wait here on Sundays to get here and talk about this.
This is what Ken Harris has put his fingers. We're talking about this matchup between two teams. We fully expected the flex. CBS has a chance to protect games. There was no way in the world CBS did not want this game on their channel. So it stays put. It'll be the national game. If unless your market has an AFC game on CBS, you'll be watching Baltimore, Washington, on your TV on Sunday, and that's fine. People get all excited about whether things should or shouldn't be. I don't care about when they flex stuff. Especially now that I'm not going to games every week. I didn't care when I was going to games every week.
I don't care.
Just tell me when the game is.
And when I have nothing to do. It's the one day like. Sunday afternoon, I have nothing.
Yeah.
So when the Skins don't play, there's a void.
Yes.
So whatever, I'll take it both. But I'm very good sitting on my couch at 1 o'clock. Just
know how to do it.
And this
So
is the
good at
first year that I've done it with such a smile on my face, with no anxiety, no anger. I'm like, I don't even know how to feel.
Can we just talk about that for 1 second?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm watching these games. This goes for really the entirety of the 4-game streak. Even the 7 field goal game against the Giants, which wasn't a pretty game, and we won with a kicker that had just shown up, a couple days before. Even that game, the last 4 games, watching and trying to think about like what am I supposed to like? I remember the 91 season when we just beat everybody by 20 or more points every single week, and we just expected that was going to happen on every given week. I'm still not expecting it, but I'm watching this team. I'm like, wait a second, like we're legitimately good enough to score points on NFL defenses, and it transitions nicely into the fact that once again we have a defensive head coach who we had previously, and we have we have a badass former linebacker on the staff in Ken Norton. And prior to that, it was JDR. They're figuring some stuff out, and they're following the leader who is quickly becoming number 4, Frankie Louvu. He was already the leader. We just we're seeing it. The guy is a badass. The fact that we got him on our team, we're going to talk about Adam Peters before this show is out. But Frankie Louvu, what he does. Of course, he has Bobby Wagner next to him. Of course, he has Jeremy Chin behind him. Of course, he has Payton Allen in front of him. But number 4, he's a special player. I mean, let's just say it. And when you're calling defensive plays and you're trying to get 11 guys to gel, and you want your scheme to start working, and you want to start becoming a good defense in this league, and you point your compass right behind number 4. I mean, it's a new day.
He is a freak of nature. He's built out of granite. He hits harder than anyone else his size, and he's of size. He is just he is an absolute dude. Watching him and Bobby Wagner, sniff out Deshaun Watson, playing in the zone, sitting, waiting. Deshaun turns to come back, and he attacks like a just with his hair on fire, runs Deshaun down, puts the big hit on him. Ball squirts right into Frankie Louvu's hands. Bobby Wagner sits there talking shit to Deshaun. Just sitting there in his ear.
He's like,
laughing, having fun, playing ball. Came here to do that with Louvu. And man, are we lucky to have both of them. I've been telling everyone, watch number 4. He does everything. They will bring him up the gut. They will rush him off the edge. They'll play him in pass coverage. He's getting sacked. What do you have, 2.5 this week? I mean, him, those two have combined on 4.
Not to mention, there's an awesome play where Deshaun Watson threw a little floater just over the defensive line. And if you watch the play in the All-22, and it's been shared a bunch of times, people have probably seen it. But if you watch, so you have Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu, and they squirted a guy into the space. And both Louvu and Wagner, talking about 2 players who are starting to. We always talk about quarterbacks and wide receivers reading the defense together without talking to each other. They both know what they're supposed to do without talking to each other. Now you're talking about Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu reading the offense together and both knowing exactly what's about to happen. So Fedarian Mathlitz tips the ball at the line of scrimmage and it falls down. But if you watch the play, both Wagner and Louvu were in front of the receiver waiting, and they were both so upset that the ball got tipped because they both knew one of them was going to catch it, because they both knew where the ball was going and they got there first. The linebacker play, we've talked about on my list of things to talk about. The linebacker play, obviously, is a different story for the Washington team this year.
Holy shit!
But it's not just different as in like better play. It is a coordinated effort amongst two badass alphas that are turning this 11-man unit into something that's getting off the field on a regular basis.
It's not going to be a top 3 or 5 defense, I don't believe. But I see no reason why it can't be a top 10 to 12.
Sure.
I really don't. Listen, I don't know if we have enough at the cornerback spot to shut down some of these high-powered, badass passing attacks. But I know this: we're getting better and better, and we're never going to just be a team that just kicks the shit out of you defensively while we're in a defensive battle. We rely on our offense to dictate what we do defensively.
Correct.
But I'm all right with it, because if this offense keeps rolling, we have the perfect D in place. because we're going to be aggressive. We're not going to sit back and let you get
right.
yours.
And if you're down by 20, we know what you're going to do.
I know.
We know what you're trying to do.
And we know, and you know what we're going to do, except for we're not. I love what Kingsbury does with a huge lead. We don't sit. We don't sit. We don't stand pat. We trust our guy to be aggressive. I hate when we just start handing the ball off. It ruins the tempo. It ruins the momentum, and it allows teams back in. It's been the NFL story for eternity. It's something we've done for eternity.
Sure.
And I've always hated it. We don't have good enough players offensively to just piss away a lead and then hope to hang on at the end. And we were never good defensively enough to do that. But that was the old school way of thought, and I love this new school attack. We go for it on fourth down out the ass as much as anybody. We know we got a guy that can get it. Why wouldn't we? You know you're playing against us. You're like, I hope they punt. And they're like, and the offense stays in the field. You're like, shit. Well, there's going to be a lot of that in Baltimore and Washington on Sunday afternoon.
I'll be hard-pressed. I mean, if we're being honest, Deshaun Watson missed open receivers a lot. I mean, he looked terrible. We have to be honest. He looked terrible. I mean, I think we had something to do with that. You know, partly responsible for making him throw it so terribly. But he missed guys all day. Amari Cooper, he's a stud. He's been a stud for a long time. And someone's going to have to match up against him, and St. Jude's is going to take his lumps. I thought St. Rissel had a day and a half. The way that he played, the way that he's coming along.
The way he competes. That's not his spot. He's playing out of spot.
He's playing out. But again, another guy that we brought in to be on the field a lot. And he is. He's one of the highest snap defensive players on our defense. He plays at a high level. He makes an impact on the game. We understand that our corner position is also evolving, and hopefully, they'll continue to develop and get better. The teams are going to be thrown against us, and there's nowhere to hide for these corners. St. Rissel laid the wood on Deshaun Watson. He broke up some passes.
Deshaun acted like a little bitch.
Deshaun acted like a little bitch.
Remember, I said, go quick with it.
He's contributing.
He's tough. He's a tough player.
I'm excited about St. Rissel. We thought that he was going to be somebody coming into the season, we were told by Adam Peters, and Adam Peters is right.
Adam Peters has been so fudging right.
He's been so fudging
about
right.
Everything.
Brandon Coleman and Cornelius Lucas continue to split snaps at left tackle, and I love it. It is working like you wouldn't believe.
Jahan Dotson continues to do absolutely nothing, and everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, and let's talk about. I mean, since we're talking about a guy, Luke McCaffrey on the goal line on Brian Robinson's run. Held a block for 4 seconds on Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward still got to Brian Robinson at the goal line, but it was too late. Luke McCaffrey blocking. I know people don't want to make a big deal and they don't want to call out Jahan Dotson, but we kind of have to call out Jahan Dotson. The whole reason we were told that he's gone is because he didn't do that. And Luke McCaffrey from a smart NFL family.
Game. He wasn't afraid to do it. He just wasn't good at it, and he's not as athletic as Luke McCaffrey, and not of a badass, just grunt football player as Luke McCaffrey. He just isn't. Luvu is my puffy horsey, and
I saw that.
And Luke is definitely your puffy horsey.
Luke is definitely my puffy horsey.
Yeah.
I thought he's going to be targeted more and more, but at the end of the day, listen, our offense is not about feeding any particular receiver not named Terry McLaurin more than the balls that you would otherwise expect to give anyone not named Terry McLaurin. I mean, De'Ami Brown, he's going to bust loose. He's going to win a one-on-one on the sideline. He's going to get a touchdown.
He can fly straight ahead. He can fly.
That's right.
He's got some challenges elsewhere, but that's fine because he's a heck of a football player.
And now people got to respect it. And Luke McCaffrey, he can play a mean slot. Terry McLaurin is going to benefit the more that those guys do their jobs better.
And Luke can do both.
Terry.
Luke can do both,
yes,
I really like that. And that's going to be a big deal for us.
He's going to be on the field. I mean, he's. Again, I don't have it this week because I wanted to kind of get away from it just for a week. The snap count, we'll check in on that. But Luke McCaffrey snaps a lot, and I think that speaks a lot to the confidence they have in him to do his job. They're not. Cliff Kingsbury isn't trying to figure out ways to get the ball to Luke McCaffrey, but he knows if he calls a play and Luke's job is to block Denzel Ward at the goal line so Brian Robinson can get in, he's going to get it done. That's awesome.
We saw it week 2. Instead of settling down, and it was in a 2-deep scenario, they had a 3-deep high top look, and it had a 3-level zone, and he kept going through that first level to get to the second level, and Jaden trusted that he would and made the throw, and they were on the same page. It's one of the first times we saw the evolution of the young Bucks in the new league. coming together, understanding what they were being taught by this staff that's done a great job with these young bucks, because they're all doing a hell of a job. All of our drafted are just, I mean.
And we're getting I think it's TR also talking about Jordan McGee. We talk about getting a potential starting left tackle in the third round. Talk about getting, you know, a wide receiver like Luke. You talk about getting, you know, some of these other, you know, obviously Jaden, St. Ristel. I mean,
Sinner's got to come around.
He's snapping more as well.
He's going to get there.
And to be honest with you, and I kind of laughed watching the game. I'm sure a lot of you guys did. And Kevin, I'm guessing you and T did as well. When Jaden Daniels is standing in the end zone and he knows he's standing in the end zone. He's in shotgun. He gets the snap and he focuses his eyes and he basically looks Zach Ertz open. Zach Ertz is now running down the seam free. And from the middle to the back of the end zone, Jaden Daniels tosses it up and throws it, and he overthrows Zach Ertz. Now, I say overthrows. You know, there may have been a day, maybe, when Zach Ertz could have run under that ball. I know that Greg Olsen was saying put a little more air underneath it. I know he could have gotten to it.
Or put it like T would say, put it on the body.
Put it on the body.
Put it on the body, or put it underneath. But when you have an arm like that, and I wouldn't know what that felt like.
Yeah.
Every now and then you lose one high. It's like throwing a high heater. You just try to bear down and let one rip. And that's all that happened there. But that never really happened to me. It might have happened to T.
It might have, yeah. I just think, you know, at some point in time, Sinnott runs that route, and he runs it faster, and the play, he might not score on it because they're talking about a 99-yard play, and a tight end's going to get caught from behind. But I know Sinnott's going to make that catch at some point in this offense. And until then, and the thing about Zach Ertz, this isn't about, you know, I'm not poo-pooing Zach Ertz. He performs a very valuable function of the play where they thought he caught it and they ruled it a fumble, but then replay assist caught it back. You saw Jaden Daniels say something to Zach Ertz. It was like 3rd and 9, and it was you had the sense you kind of knew what he was saying. He was saying, "I'm coming right back to you," and that's exactly what he did. It was like 3rd and 9. They went right back to Zach Ertz. He didn't get the first down, but then they reconnected at the end of that play. Zach Ertz is very important to this offense, very important, and he has the respect of Jaden Daniels and that whole offensive side of the ball. And we're not taking anything away from him. No,
not at all. And you just remind me real quick, OZ running downfield after Eckler's big, huge play.
So he's in jet. He goes out to the left to draw out the defender for jet, and he's way out.
Away from the play.
He's outside the hash marks.
Jet motion to the boundary.
To the boundary.
To the boundary. And then the NFL's a little tighter, hash marks. But to the boundary.
Eckler, again, because of amazing blocking, I believe Biotish, again, pulled on that. You saw it.
It was specifically Biotish.
It was specifically Biotish. Eckler
he's a dude,
ducks in right underneath Biotish's ass, and then now he's gone up the field. And on the wide shot, on the all-22, you could see number 14, trail. He's the first one there. Listen, like, we've all played on teams of all sports. We understand what it means to not be in the play, but he like proves the point of like everyone has to be in the play. He was the farthest guy away from the ball.
We haven't had a guy do some shit like that in eternity.
It's been a while.
That's like something that Ricky Sanders would have done for Riggo. I mean, I'm
that
just telling you.
That was special.
It was so cool because that's the 3rd guy offensively in 5 games that is completely sold out to recover a fumble for our offense. Allegretti and Biotish. Allegretti, Biotish, and now OZ it's a big deal. And it was Jay Gruden's favorite play, but it was my favorite play when we were watching it. I was like, look at this. Look at this. I just saw him dive into the pile. I did not see the all-22 scenario, which
he
made
was
it
out there and he's
so sweet.
He sprints down. I mean, literally, like you see a guy. I mean, his whole job was to be a decoy, and he went all the way outside the play. And he was the first guy when the ball hit the ground. It's special. That's
3 saved turnovers. That should be. We're gonna keep that stat right here in the basement.
We see guys
We're
with
keeping
the
that
ball.
Stat right here.
We see guys with the ball give up on plays. We see. I mean, we've watched Albert Hainsworth lay down in the middle of the field. I mean, we understand what it means to call the play over in your own heart and mind. So the fact that 14. By the way, also. He has had an impact on special teams as well. Him and Austin Eckler are getting 20+ yards on these kickoff returns. And
I love Dan Quinn saying every time he touches the ball, our sidelines is electric because they love this guy. He's one of those guys you love in the locker room. He's one of those hardworking, great personality guys that you just can't get enough of. So this is something. This is important to us right now. The culture has it been changed? I feel like we just slammed a lot of doors, locked a lot of those dungeons in the Northwest Field, whatever the hell they keep calling it. I can't. I'm not mad about it, but I just can't. Northwest Field. If you still call CVS Peoples,
I still call it FedEx. I mean, I can't even.
I still call them the Skins. What am I like?
But that's like part. I mean, it's ingrained religiously.
I know.
But like Northwest. I don't even remember that's a thing. At least I know it's the Washington Commanders. I know that it was the Washington football team. I know we're due for another name change, at some point. But whatever. The cool thing about those guys, making those kinds of plays. When you talk about number 14 specifically, getting active and getting involved. I mean, these are the kind of guys that they're not quote unquote frontliners. But without them buying in, we talk about the culture. I want to hat tip a little bit to Ron Rivera. I mean, he came in the basement. He came in rock bottom, and he did, to some extent, and maybe through his fight against cancer, he did get Dan Snyder.
I'm going to give him the hold.
Okay,
he gets the hold.
That's fine.
I'm not giving him a save.
Oh,
or a win.
No, not the save. Not the save.
He gets a hold. He came in and got a couple guys out.
He did what he could from a culture standpoint. I think we can all debate about his coaching ability.
I agree with that immensely.
Yeah.
He definitely got the ball rolling on this.
And this is the next level.
It was a tiny ball.
It was a very tiny ball. This is next level what Dan Quinn is doing. And you know what? It's kind of like people are going to want to get carried away by it. He wears his hat backwards. He's a player's guy. He drops the F-bomb like every fourth word. And he's excitable and he's exciting. And he's the leader on the sidelines and the players love him. That's a story every NFL fan can like. If you don't hate the Redskins, then you'll love Dan Quinn. You'll get excited about the fact that he's doing what he's doing. But it's not like a fire burning so bright that it's going to burn itself out. I mean, what they're doing is it's been so building blocks. They're getting to a level that they can sustain. Everything has been about building 1 week on the next. We're watching it with Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels and the way that they call the offense. We're watching it in the way that Joe Witt.
Keep those guys together as long as possible.
Yes. Yes. We're watching Joe Witt develop that comfort level with the way he's calling plays on defense. And so, I think the culture aspect of what they're doing is not understated. I think people outside, they recognize the fact that outside the Beltway, outside our fan base, I think they recognize that it's a different day for our franchise. And certainly we are too, but at the same time, I don't think they truly can appreciate again,
how bad,
like the change, from where it went to where it is. And now we don't want to be. It's not fool's gold, We're not. We don't. It's not all going to turn to shit, tomorrow because of something. Because because the way that they're doing it, the way that they're building it, they're doing it right. I mean, everything is iterative. It's like we get this right, then now we're going to try this. So we get that right, now we're going to try this, and everything builds. It's all building. We're not just trying to be there.
In the offseason, I agree with everything you said. In the offseason, I thought that exact thing would lead us to getting more and more free agents to want to come here. What I'm learning is we're trying to figure out which one of these one-year guys we're going to bring back and which guys fit this culture on and off and blah, blah. Now we can really, really, really have an understanding of what we need, where we need to go, and why. And I love that because Adam Peters seems to freaking know exactly how to squeeze fit these guys into the right places to be successful with the right guys that teach them to be that way. And you're going to miss on a couple, but damn if he hasn't really, really gotten off to a hot start for us.
I know Dan Quinn, said he hates the word rebuild. He wants to talk about recalibrate and this and that and whatever. I understand.
We're 4-1, baby.
We're 4-1.
This shit's real. We are good as shit as far as this league's concerned.
As far as this league concerned, we are good as shit.
The league is not good as shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to, because we're going to be so much better in the future than we are right this very second. But right this very second is good enough to make some noise in this league at the top end.
To get from where we were to where we are, to what you're saying, where we are and where we could be, you almost at some point in time, this makes me shout out to Kevin Ewald in our days at Hawks Haven back in the early 2000s, and so many times when we were like, well, this is a perfect opportunity to blow it all up and start over from scratch. And we never did.
No, we just always kind of hovered around mediocrity-ish,
Yes.
but right below it, right below mediocrity.
Yes.
And every now and then, it was so disgusting. It felt so dirty.
It's like, this is a perfect opportunity to just hit the easy button and say, let's start over. And so when you look
those
at
underwears, Ken, you're like,
it's
all right, I'll wear them.
We've turned them inside out already.
Can't help it.
Twice. So when you look at the fact that they turned over, 33 roster spots, I mean, it is, that has to be known. I know they put it on TV this week. I hope they do it again on CBS on Sunday. People have to understand, like, 21 guys came back from last year's team. 21 guys there's 33 new dudes on the field this past Sunday. I mean, it is a lightning bolt of a reminder that everything had to change. And they're saying the nice things. They're like, well, we had some good players, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, you know what? We needed 33 new guys. And like the fact that we finally did it, we finally just turned everything to F over. And we're like, you know what? We got to get rid of so many things.
We scraped the stadium.
Yes. And
we power washed it. It was necessary.
It was absolutely necessary
for the fans.
Yes, and
of course, Rivera had gotten the ball rolling, like you talked about a little bit, and we're heading.
But he didn't pick guys.
No, but also Snyder was out of the building. That was a good deal. So that definitely helped the culture improve. So I can say we were heading in the right direction.
We were heading in the right direction.
That was like a minimal percentage. We are now getting like a B and trending on an A if we turn in our work before the grades come out, because this is the test. This week is the test. All right, Derrick Henry. Come on, man. You got to tackle that big ass dude with Lamar, with 3 tight ends. That they spread the ball to 3 tight ends, man. Yep. Everything they try and do is what we try and do.
We had 3 tight ends on the field all the time.
It's unbelievable what the similarities are in this. And by the way, if you take all 3 of our running backs' production and put it up against with less carries, then, well, hold on, because Justice Hill, Henry and Hill. Did anyone think about this? Henry Hill, Baltimore. This is a little creepy. But those 2 and our 3, we're right there. They'd be first, we'd be third. I mean, like, so what we're trying to do with our running backs, of course, we don't have Derrick Henry. No one has Derrick Henry, but our 3 guys make up for the numbers.
Is that a Goodfellas reference?
Henry Hill was.
Yeah, Henry Hill for sure. Absolutely, I love it.
That's what I'm saying. What a life that guy led.
What a life! The first half of that movie.
But when they caught him, they were like, "Can you help us make a movie?" And he was like, "Why not? Guys?
Why not? Yes, let's do it." I think we need to have like a mash cut of like the first half of all of those movies where it's just awesome. Everyone's living large, everyone's having a great time, and then just like not watch the downfall part of all of those movies.
Karen, why did you do that, Karen?
Unbelievable. All right, so stopping Derrick Henry. Listen.
Zay Flowers, likely.
You got to stop Derrick Henry first and foremost.
Oh, no doubt.
And that requires a mindset of I'm going to have the snot beat out of me when I try to tackle that guy. The key to life is getting him going sideways. That's always been the key to Derrick Henry. Listen, it's easier said than done. He's also a gifted sprinter. He has a great singing voice. His personal hygiene is above reproach. Everything about him is just amazing. If you can get him going sideways, but the thing is, he runs north to south, and when he does, the end result is north.
Yeah, that's why we have Wagner and Luvu. That's why we have the big boys up front. This is why we show up to a game like this.
Yes,
and this reason, and we're gonna stop the run first. And Lamar's been making some plays in the pass game.
Sure.
And he's going to. How about this? 9 passing touchdowns to 1 interception this year. He's got a bevy of tight ends, but he's got some wide receivers that can play a little bit too. Nelson Aguilar winds up on this roster as like the 5th guy running go routes. Like he's one of the fastest dudes that's played in this league for the last decade.
I know. I'm so unafraid of Nelson Aguilar, but yet
no. Well, you shouldn't. You should be unafraid of Nelson Aguilar. But if he's your sixth guy, that's a lot of wheels on the field with those big monsters and all those.
Rashad Bateman's also a speedster.
Bateman's a speedster, but then you got Mark Andrews and Likely in there catching the ball after ball, and I'm forgetting the third tight end.
The 300.
Well, if you have a freaking 300-pound fullback with Derek, but here's the deal: they're not going to be able to get into that mix with us. We're going to muck you up. Joe Witt is going to make Lamar beat us down the field, just like Tampa Bay had to. That's the only team that's had success against us with those two badasses, and I get it. But we have the ability to slow down the run.
Yeah,
I don't think we're stopping the run game. Listen, on third and a yard, they're handing it to Derrick Henry, and he's running straight the fuck ahead.
Yes, he is, and he's getting a yard from almost 98.100% of the time. We're gonna make Lamar throw. I agree with you. Who said that?
I was gonna wish Greg Martin a happy 40th, but I never said anyone should be afraid of Nelson Aguilar. I'm just saying this: we haven't had a fifth receiver like him in 50 years. We have guys that are playing in our flag league with Ken and I. And by the way, one of the Martys, Greg, Marty Herney, was a local legend as a boys club coach and a writer and a beat writer. He is legendary around here for his amazing personality, and they found a great role for him, I'm sure. But I like having one of the Martys. I don't know the other Marty.
Yeah,
but this guy's a personal family friend and has been. I mean, he's been one of us forever. He's just a regular dude. He's the regular guy from the neighborhood.
The manner in which that Adam Peters has put this thing together. I know J-Dubs, you got it. Do I amuse you? The camera was on Josh Harris and Adam Peters as the buzzer went off against the Cleveland Browns. And Adam Peters and all of his handsomeness,
greatest smile in the game.
Walking
the
across
dude's
the field.
Never not smiling. He's got to have the most pounding headache at the end of a long day. I mean, smiling his balls off.
So Adam Peters picks all. He has the golden touch. But again, it just goes back to but Josh Harris, the owner, and Magic Johnson, and all these guys who figured out Bob Myers, and they put the team together to hire these guys. They just did such a good job. I mean, we haven't hired a group. We've hired so many groups. We've hired so many groups. This group is different.
I think we went like 70 for 70 on hires. Sorry, McManus. We hired
McManus.
69 for 70.
69.
And by the way, that was the worst hire of the season for us.
Yeah, I mean, we thought. The one area, anyways, Austin Seibert, how are we saying his name today?
Sir.
Yeah, Austin, we love you. By the way, another stat I had for you. He's 12 for 12 since joining the team. He's 100%. That is the highest amount of made field goals in the league for someone who hasn't yet missed.
What is happening?
What is happening? I mean, and I'm going to give I want to throw out all kinds of love to Kaimi Fairbairn and Young Hae Koo and some of these guys who are basically kicking 55-yarders like they're 20-yarders. I mean, we haven't had to do that, and we haven't been doing that. But we also haven't had a kicker go 12 for 12. I can't remember when we've had a kicker go 12 for 12. I mean, it might be like freaking what's his face, Jess Atkinson. I mean, it might be like that, and then he was done forever. I mean, Chip Lohmiller maybe 12 for 12 out of the gate. Is a different situation. He definitely won a game for us, but having a kicker at FedEx Field is one of the hardest things we've ever tried to do, apparently, and we've never been able to do it.
I'm gonna call him Siebert.
Siebert.
I'm going Siebert.
We're doing Siebert then. I'm with you on Siebert. Yeah, Keegan. I agree with you. Chip Lohmiller. When you're talking about going back a long ways, 3 points. Everyone wants to always say you're not going to win games kicking field goals, but you're not.
You beat the Giants kicking field goals.
You're not going to win the game.
Specifically, beat the Giants kicking field goals.
You're not going to win the games missing field goals. That's for damn sure.
Also, Chip Lohmiller ran down on kickoff. Let's always make sure that everyone knows that. Not and didn't hit people, and collided relentlessly every time.
Yep.
That's unheard of in the league that we play in now.
Yeah.
Come on, Chip Lohmiller is a man's man of a kicker.
Let me see if I have anything else.
Minnesota.
Let's see if I have anything else on here.
I have
here
one
for
question
you.
I wrote down for you, but I forgot
Okay.
what it was, so I'm going to go off the rails and
Go off the
ask you
rails.
this. I'm going Greg Martin style on this one. Would you, Ken Meringolo, rather wake up tomorrow with an extra 2 inches of manhood,
Yes.
or continue this season at this exact pace?
Dude, what do I need with 2 extra inches of manhood?
I don't know.
I have 3 kids. I've been married for 22 years. I'd give up 2 inches of man. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I got inches to spare, Kev. How many inches do you need? I mean, I got a whole store over here.
I didn't even say length or girth yet, and you went off on a tangent.
I'm just saying. What do I need with
all of
inches?
a sudden, you're requesting a thin penis.
Dude, it's like in the appendix or tonsils at this point in my life. I mean, just take them. Yeah. You know, at this point, I mean, seriously, what am I talking about? Well, let's keep it going. Let's just keep it.
I just really wanted to hear your answer, and I want to send it to T at like 2 in the morning.
Send it to T at 2 in the morning. I love it. NES Tecmo, always love you. Chip was beefy and he definitely had some good pads. He did not wear kicker pads,
and he was big. Yeah, he was a tall guy too.
Yep.
I want to say he was like 6'4".
Yeah, he was a big boy. So Austin Siebert has that was my last one. He was 12 for 12. But, oh, by the way, in special teams, I was looking through special team stats. This is just a random thing I thought you and T would like. Broncos have 2 safeties this season. That seems like a Broncos through 5 weeks, 2 safeties. It seems like a statistical outlier. That Broncos defense. Now we don't have to play them this year. We played them last year. Almost lost to them. Which was the dumbest thing ever.
Russell Wilson. He Wilsoned around a little bit.
He Wilsoned it at the end. So that's just a weird stat to me. There was a lot of weird special teams stuff going on. We had a lot of blocked kicks returned for touchdowns. We had 2 100-yard returns on the same in the same like span of like 2 or 3 minutes. Pat Surtain for the Broncos. And I don't know the kid for the Giants who did it. I have no idea. He picked up a ball in the goal line. By the way, just an absolute heartbreaker.
There's a lot of thoughts happening right now. I need you to focus so I can focus.
I'm just talking about crazy touchdowns that were scored on Sunday. 2 100-yard defensive touchdowns were scored.
I was in Denver. I was in the old school unis for a moment.
My son was like, "What's up with those uniforms?" And I was like, "Dude,
those are the only ones that matter.
The best ones. I wish they would go back to it.
I'd like them to go back to it to remind me of beating that ass in the Super Bowl. But those were sweet ass unis.
Speaking of sweet ass unis, as I say it all the time, the Washington Redskins, our colors are burgundy and gold. We should be wearing burgundy and gold. I love that we came in at home and we wore burgundy and gold. That should be the uniform we wear.
We look
all the time.
Great. I thought we looked great.
Yes.
And I'm not Mr. Uniform guy.
I know.
I just like when we look classy and sharp and it works and those things happened. I was like, man, does number 5 look sweet in the burgundy and gold? Is it Sunday yet? So I can be happy. Remember how miserable Sundays were?
Yes.
Jaden Ray of Sunshine Daniels. Oh my God, man.
So I'm not going to take you down this road, but I do want to bring up the fact that the uniforms look great. I love that we wear our colors. Our colors aren't white. Our colors aren't black. Our colors are burgundy and gold. Those were the colors that we wore. We should always wear those at all times. I would love to see us with a gold helmet at some point. Not as our everyday helmet, but we get to change things up. Let's do a gold helmet at some point. That's my one uniform thing. I know you don't really care about stuff like that.
No. I like the gold helmet idea as long as it's done in proper taste and it looks a little bit like the black on black wasn't my favorite.
No, it's not us.
It wasn't
it's
us.
not our colors.
No.
I mean, I understand black's cool. The older I get, the more black I wear because it's thinning and it covers the gut and all of it works. Johnny Cash. I learned from Johnny Cash, but the Washington Redskins are burgundy and gold. Like, we're not black, we're not white, we're not any of these other colors. Like, why aren't we wearing our colors?
We're sitting here huffing whiskey on a Tuesday.
Damn it.
And you're talking about how you learned from Johnny Cash. You're just giving up all of our secrets, kid.
I'm giving up all the secrets. All right, so we have a great game to look forward to on Sunday.
It's going to be one of the best matchups to look forward to in the regular season and forever, man. Yeah. I'm super thrilled to stay at home and watch it play by play.
Yes.
Just to drink it all in.
And it's one of those weeks where people are already. I don't want to. I don't like it when people say it. I'm certainly not saying it. I'm not looking for a good performance and a loss. This is the team we can beat. We should beat them. Let's go out and beat them.
We're a winning team now, and I'm
Yeah.
done with the. Listen, it was a terrible time when we had to do that. We were like,
We had
wow,
to say-
we hung in with Philly and we lost in overtime. Wasn't that bad? No, we lost to Philly. It's disgusting.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels, don't lose to Philly.
Don't lose to Philly. Greg Martin mentioned it earlier in the show. We don't get on a plane to travel anywhere until week 15.
And we still have the most home games left.
And we have the most home games left.
Against a rack. After Lamar, there's a rack of quarterbacks.
I know. I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I understand like what people expect when we play Carolina in 2 weeks, and I hope we're not. We don't.
I understand what league we're in.
We play the Giants and we get them out of the way before we play the Eagles and Cowboys twice down the stretch.
Yeah.
Late in the season, those are going to be the games that matter in terms of winning the division.
Those are going to be great football games because we all know
Yes.
we can go and score 30 and 40 all we want against all these other play. And I don't give a shit about how good Philly and Dallas is. We know what the NFC East is.
Yep.
These are going to be wars. Arizona goes out and beats San Fran last week after we dismantled them 42-14.
That's shocked me.
That's a division game. They play each other twice a year. They know each other. This is a relentless. This is what we're going to deal with Philly and Dallas and the freaking Giants again. We're going to be in. We're going to be in some
Seattle
one possession
was
freaking
crazy.
wars. This is what it is.
Let's go
This
back
is
to
why
that
we're
real
going to be
fast.
doing this. This is what this league suggests. It is the most media, like the worst team and the best team. It's not that far apart, but anyone can roll on anyone the same way we've been doing lately.
New York Giants defense is special in the sense that they are.
It was Keegan.
unit.
You got to give Keegan. Look, Keegan said that was me. Greg Martin said it wasn't me, but he'll take the credit.
Oh, sorry.
We got it was Keegan.
Yeah, it's Keegan. My bad.
Greg
My
Martin's
bad.
Greg
yo.
Martin's a good man, but also he's willing to take credit that's not his, which makes me think.
Hey, it's his birthday. You got
It's
it.
not till the 17th, but we'll wish him a happy birthday on the
We wish him
17th.
a happy
He's celebrating. That's a great game to celebrate on.
I would have driven up the New Jersey Turnpike if we weren't doing the Gonzaga game on Saturday. I would love to celebrate with Greg and his family and the whole 9 yards. But
I don't even know if he was invited, but I imagine he would be welcoming. Holy shit!
It happens all the time.
It's when
just
when I
happens.
talk about you not being invited. Shit gets weird around here.
It's Granddad Al and the Marine Corps, love and life.
Hoorah!
What do you got for a score for us on Sunday, Kev?
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
I'll tell you what. While you think about that, I had one last thing on my checklist of things I wanted to talk to you about.
Knock yourself
Okay.
out.
Outfits, colors of the season,
Hand rinse.
hats,
Under Armour performance thong.
lotion. Okay, here we go. Defensive end discipline. Okay, so if you've been a Washington Redskins football team Commanders fan over the last, let's say 10 years, let's just call it 10, you've gotten used to watching guys like Arakpo, guys like Chase Young, not so much Montez Sweat, but they take the widest possible angle. They lodge their neck into the tackle's forearm, and they try to fight their way around, and they leave like this huge hole between the defensive tackle and the defensive end. If you've been watching what we've been doing the last 5 weeks on the defensive line, Dorian Armstrong and Dante Fowler and Jean Baptiste and these other guys, you're seeing a concerted effort to push up the field in their spot, contain.
This is Joe Witt.
This is Joe
This
Witt.
is our defensive coordinator. This is his defense. This is Dan Quinn and Joe Witt. They understand what this league means. This is a style of play, not some guy's specific.
Defensive end
Yes.
discipline and middle pressure. Two things that we've been doing really, really well. That if you've been paying attention to what our guys have been doing for the last however many years on the outside, rushing the passer, it just seems like they're doing their own thing. Even when they weren't freelancing, it seemed like they were. When you watch what we're doing right now, you're watching two defensive ends push up, push in, and then the pressure comes from the middle. I understand that quarterbacks, like especially Lamar, is going to be able to do something with that. But it's such a new day in terms of scheme and discipline.
The push your shit in defense. It
Yes.
seems to be working for DC Meringolo, and I agree with you. But here's the deal: none of that shit works against Lamar Jackson. So He's going to get
right.
his, but like, so there's not going
It's
to be
going to
a
work
spy.
against Andy Dalton, by the way.
Damn right. You know, when they talk about having a spy like 40 years ago, you can have a spy. I'm going to bring out my spy thing again. My spy glass.
Your sack watch?
It was my sack watch spy glass. I got to use it twice, so I'm glad I dusted her off.
That's good.
There's not a dude in the world that can spy on Lamar Jackson and then go get him.
No.
I see him. There he goes. He's gone. He's gone. There's nobody. But if you got some veterans that understand down distance, you understand formationally what they're trying to accomplish,
Yes.
he's going to make plays. Listen, he's going to make broken plays look like magic. Like he dropped the ball, picked it up, double, blah, blah. We know what he did. We know what he's capable of. That's going to happen. We have to counter that. We have to have good timing. We have to have great red zone defense. In the red zone, he's only got 2 touchdowns rushing this year. They've been throwing him in the red zone, tight end, tight end. They've been running play pass in the red zone relentlessly to wide open tight ends.
Yep.
And how could they not be with the threat of Lamar Jackson running? And we are too. What the shit are we going to do about that? That is the biggest pickle in the NFL, arguably, to deal with, especially in the red zone with the multiple tight ends, with the fullback, the badass tail. Like, shit, our defense has got their hands full, and that means our offense does too. But that means they do too.
They do too.
They do too.
I think we're gonna have we've been scoring over 30 every single week. I think we might have to score over 30 this week to get the W. I hope our defense holds them to less than that. But really, you're talking about 2 teams who know how to get the ball in the end zone. They do it their way. Like there's a way that we do it, and there's a way that they do it, and no one does it better than us and them. So it's gonna be a great test. I love it's not a playoff game in week 6, and there won't be a playoff atmosphere, but there will be the I-95 aspect of it. There will be the everyone's backyard aspect of it. And at the same time, this is not this isn't the Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl contenders, but in week 6, so are the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
And so you have 2 teams that think
we are. That's not bullshit.
That's not bullshit.
That's not bullshit.
Like right now, that's exactly what we are.
We have to feel that way too. Let's not be broken.
Let's not even question it. So
why wouldn't we?
There's going to so you get a chance to play a game against a team that people think that about, and people think that about you. And so what happens?
There's 10 teams that should feel that way right now.
Sure.
I'm not saying 2. We're not one of them, but we're one of 10 that should feel that way.
Kansas City, Minnesota, Washington are the 3 tops. 3 tops.
From the NFC?
From the NFL. Kansas City.
All right. Well, that's a lot.
Minnesota and Washington.
I love our guys.
And Baltimore, that's 4.
I don't know if our defense is up there, but I don't know if Baltimore can say that either. So no, it's not like everyone's going to be like, all right, we're going to run it. No, they throw it on you. Your pass defense
Things
stinks.
change so much in an NFL season.
Oh,
as well.
September. Oh, God.
We know.
This is the first
Trust me,
less than a third of the season. We will not. We will. The rest of the league will not remember their first 5 weeks the way what we do.
Yes,
ours is a bit different, to be fair.
It is. This is a coming out party for the Washington organization.
Hell yeah!
There are a lot of teams on this schedule left, and we played. When you looked at this schedule before the season, and you were talking about getting through, Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow and Deshaun Watson. And when we were looking at it in July and August, it played out a whole lot better than we could have ever possibly hoped.
Little ass Kyler stunk.
Yeah, because he looked freaking good against San Francisco.
Cool Joe, he was solid.
I love Joe Burrow.
Me too, but he was just solid.
Dude,
he didn't carve us up.
Dude,
him and Jamar had 2.
But by the way, the Jamar
and he had T. Higgins back against us.
So okay. That brings me to the last thing that I came here prepared to ask you about.
Oh, shit.
And the board, for that matter. Anyone who's still left hanging out with us on 17,000 people watching currently live.
And the quality of individual is through the roof.
Yes, it is absolutely outrageously amazing. The trade deadline in the National Football League.
God damn you.
Last year, we were sellers. It's turned into a little baseball scenario. We were huge sellers. We sold 2 huge pieces. Chase Young and Montez Sweat.
It was 2 of the first building blocks to get to where we are right now.
Yes. So we were sellers. Eugene Shen said, "Here's what we need." We got it. They were out.
How many guys we have on $3 to $4 million contracts from that money?
Yeah.
Like a dozen.
Like a dozen guys.
Seriously.
So the possibility now, again, I don't anticipate Adam Peters will be anxious to give up draft picks at the deadline to pick up a player, nor should he. If he's picking the way he's been picking players, he should only be getting picks. He should never be getting rid of them. That said, at some point you do make the decision. Hey, listen, we got a rookie quarterback. A quarterback on a rookie contract. We have a window. Do you make a run for T. Higgins at the deadline?
1,000% no.
Okay. I like that. Because I'm not giving up 2/3 to get him.
No, and listen, smiley ass Adam Peters. People don't want to be dealing with him anymore. You don't ever make a deal with a guy with that huge ass Cheshire grin. You just know you're getting hosed. And he looks at you and winks, and he's all handsome, and you're like, God damn it. I just lost all my money and my best player. And no.
I'd love for Cincinnati to get back in it because I think it's more fun when Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are in it. That touchdown Jamar Chase had, by the way, when he ran past everybody was so crazy.
He's great.
He's so great.
He's great. But let me counter you with this, and I like this because Greg Martin just said a corner, maybe.
Yes, maybe.
So that's different to me.
Okay.
That's different.
Who's giving up a corner? Somebody would.
I don't want to go and do this, but that's different than just throwing money. Like
Yeah. We have money to spend on the guy that we want
but like
him.
this isn't going to be a futures guy. I think this would be a guy that would help us out on this one.
Yes.
I don't think this is going to be a top tier guy. Someone said the guy in Carolina is somebody that we should keep an eye on. But
Horn?
Listen,
J.C. Horn or something like that?
Perhaps. Here's my point.
I can't think
if
of
we
his
go
name.
after a guy that could help us out a little bit and it doesn't cost us draft capital that's worth a piss, that's fine. Listen, T. Higgins, come on, man. That's going to be. Yeah, I'm just saying. No. From what I believe, we believe.
Yeah,
that just doesn't make any sense.
I don't think Adam Peters has any interest whatsoever in getting rid of a pick. I mean, he's only adding picks. He's never getting rid of them. I mean, again, he's adding guys. Every single thing that he does just works. So, and he is the classic understander of the truth that is. If I know I can pick guys to come in and play right away, and I know I can pay second, third, fourth, and fifth rounder salaries to players who are going to play for me right away, I'm never going to pay the top of market for anyone who I didn't pick.
We just took 2 top of market guys out of here and brought in 12 guys on the tertiary market. You like that?
Whoa.
Sorry, Kirk.
T.
I love what we did because
CJ
it was
Horn,
the
that's
right
right.
guys. The right guys. Yeah, CJ Horn can play. We're not in a position to do that right this very moment because there's no reason. There's no reason for it.
No.
What we've built here with this group is super important to get through the season. I said corner, not to knock someone down, to bolster.
Yeah.
Because if one of our corners gets hurt now,
that's the only scenario in which I would do the deal.
Right now,
if St. Jude's or St. Ristel get hurt,
specifically get hurt. Now
Yes.
we're looking at Mike Davis, who we're like, well, we didn't snap with him for the first couple weeks.
No.
But now, get on in there, Mike.
Yeah.
Now, he's got 8 years starting experience, but apparently that shit wasn't good enough for Dan Quinn.
That's
and
right.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Because in old days, that guy would have started every game no matter what. If he was an 8-year starter and we paid for him from the Chargers, he would have been cemented into that spot.
Correct. That's really the only scenario. If we have to fill a hole that from an injury at some point, and again, with the belief that we are good enough to make a run in 2024.
I do believe that.
Yeah. So yes, you're not going to not try and help your guys.
Bolstering versus a talent.
Yeah, there is the T. Higgins argument is you can get this guy for the next 5 years
in the draft.
But Adam Peters believes he can get him in the draft. And again, T. Higgins is tall. You can get a tall guy in the draft. T. Higgins is, he's a guy who can play multiple spots with his tall frame. You can get that guy in the draft.
Well, we should believe that because we should believe that Adam Peters is our just draft savant. That just means you're a little bit better than everyone, by the way.
Also,
so if you're a little bit better than the other 31, that means your team is going to be a lot better.
I can appreciate the fact that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are both number 1 wide receivers in this league.
Yeah.
But they also have Joe Burrow. I think that if you're Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, you believe that we have Jaden Daniels. Therefore, we can get a guy in the second or third round, and then he can come in and play at a high level because our quarterback is good enough to make him that.
Can't you hear me knocking?
It's like,
you know
hey,
how many free
we
agents?
got a guy.
You know how many draftable? You know who wants to come play with this guy?
A lot of guys.
They're like, did you see? Yep. And then he threw it and it flicked it 60
By the way,
effortlessly.
I believe Minnesota gave Justin Jefferson the monies because somebody must have told them if they didn't, he was coming to Washington.
Washington. Everyone wants to give Justin Jefferson the monies.
And we have the monies to give him.
He might be the one that says.
But somebody has to want to come here, and someone's going to want to come here now.
Sir, but also some of these second-tier guys might want to come here. Some of these washed-up guys. Like, all of a sudden, we're going to be able to fill spots at like, I'm not
like
saying.
the Noah Brown type stuff. Like, Noah Brown is a great example.
I know, we got to get him back. I really like him. He's tough as shit.
Me too. I was sad to see him out this week.
I know. I don't like it. I want him back.
He is a dog.
He can help us out. He's not the answer long term, but he can help us out this year, no doubt. People
just assume Jeremy McNichols is a rookie, coming right. The dude's been in the league 8 years.
Yeah,
he's a tough, badass MFer who doesn't take for granted the fact that he's still able to play in this league. He plays tough as shit. He gets 4 or 5 yards more than the defense is willing to give him, and he meets linebackers in the hole and they go his way.
Just a whisper.
Just a whisper.
That's what we call it. Just a whisper.
So we're closing out here, guys. We feel good about the Washington Commanders. Man, what a great Tuesday. What a great victory Tuesday.
Oh, man.
What a great discussion about the our team being 4-1. I just want to make sure, and we'll get T in on it next week to talk about the feeling of rooting for this team. It's such a different experience watching the execution when we're on Sunday. Even against the Browns when we didn't get the score for the first time in however many 19 possessions without a score, and next thing you know it's 17-7. Next thing you know it's 34-6 or whatever it was. It's not I'm not saying we're so overly confident that we're going to beat teams, but the ability to execute up and down the field on offense specifically, because you talk about when you start a season, we always say which unit is always ahead of the other in September. It's the defense,
and they were,
and the defense always plays better than the offense. The fact that Kevin, you said it, the fact that our defense is playing the way they are right now, that's because of our offense. Our offense gave our defense a little bit of breathing room to find themselves.
And the head coach's mentality facing a team built like ours is completely different than we faced in forever. The head coach's mentality on the other side of the field understands that number 5 is not going anywhere, and he is going to be a damn handful. And he's averaging 31 in the first 5 games of his freaking rookie season.
Yep.
Now you're thinking, I got to hold these guys under 25, and I don't know if we can get to 30. Now Baltimore feels that way. Feels that way. A majority of the league does not. The intimidation factor forces the head coach into making some risks, doing some things that you wouldn't typically do, getting out of your typical comfort zone and doing things to make sure that you can counter the talent that is number 5, Jaden Daniels. And it makes you panic a tad bit. And you got to start thinking and having nightmares about him. When he escapes contain, you are fucked. It's so cool that he plays for us. Yeah. Because typically we've watched Contain escaped and we have just gotten throttled.
This is
guy. The dude. This is the guy. And he is striking fear into the hearts of D coordinators and head coaches across this league. And rightfully so.
Because it's so effortless and it looks so easy.
He's so smart. He's
by the way, he has that
smart.
So when you for example, when Deshaun Watson was running up the sidelines this weekend and he got drilled by St. Ristel, he was 1.5 yards inside the lines and he took a hit and people want to get whatever. It was a legal hit and St. Ristel crushed him.
And he was like, "How come you didn't massage my ball?
How come you didn't?"
I think that's what I read.
I think
I'm a very good lip reader.
When Jaden goes to the sidelines, when he's so the thing like I forget, I think it was a West Virginia quarter. It was Kenny Pickett for West
He
Virginia.
didn't say that.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
Kenny Pickett did at the college level did that thing where he pretended to almost slide and go out of bounds, and then he ran for a touchdown.
He did the fake slide, and then
yeah,
and he also wore gloves.
And he wore gloves
in case he ran into Deshaun Watson on the sideline somewhere.
2 knuckles deep. When Jaden Daniels is going to the sidelines, he does this thing where he starts to pull up and he goes straight to the sidelines. Now, I believe it was last week. It was either last week or the week before when a defender was jawing at him.
You can't fake the slide.
You can't fake it.
It's a plan.
But that's the slide. But also when you're going towards the sidelines, there's that moment where are you going to go out of bounds? Or are you going to go up the field and try to take it? Deshaun Watson took the hit from St. Ristel. I wouldn't say Jaden McDaniels. Jaden Daniels gets up, kind of pulls up and goes off the field, and you could tell he was getting jawed at by the defenders, and he said, "I don't do that shit." That's what he said. If you read lips, he went back and he was like, "I don't do that shit," and I know what it was. I know why, because he pulls up and he goes out of bounds and he doesn't take the extra hit. He doesn't take the foolish hit. He's not trying to draw a penalty on the other team. He's just trying not to get hit. And the other team was like, hey, I got to be careful that you're going to just turn up field. And he said, I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit. He's so in command. He's just in charge. Everything that he does is at this point in time is so refined. It's like, where does he go from here? Like, what does it look like in 10 weeks or 2 years?
Whatever he wants it to.
It's unbelievable.
Whatever he wants it to. That's the level of talent he brings. He doesn't have the ego. He understands the team concept. Showed up at 4 o'clock. I cannot get over.
I mean, it's crazy.
I can just say to my son for the first time ever, it's been Terry McLaurin for 7 years.
Yeah.
Do
it like he does it.
London Fletcher before that.
Do it like he does it.
But now you can be like, yo.
Do it like he does it.
Yo, do you see what he's doing? Do you see the results? Do you understand the connection? Because I didn't when I was your age. I didn't. I just thought God gives you this and then not. No, God did give him plenty. And he took the rest to the bank. And he is, oh God, the contract that he signs in 5 years, I hope we give it to him. I hope it's $50 billion.
It will be $50 billion.
Don't care. Don't want to talk about that, but don't care.
Speaking of $50 billion, here's our announcers for this week. For the Washington Commanders, a team that has year in and year out been announced by interns, guys off the street, people they found in the parking lot. It's Jim Nantz and Tony Romo. It's going to be fun. Tony Romo is going. I like him. I know people are mixed on him, but
I'm certainly mixed.
Yeah, Jim Nantz is.
I liked him as a player better than I like him as an announcer. He knows what he's talking about, but he's all smarmy and mouthy.
He is.
And he's got so much mouth jaws. Too much. I feel like it's coming to the television
It's a
screen.
lot.
It's coming.
It's a lot, but I love Jim Nantz. I mean, I love him on calling the Masters and all that kind of stuff. This is it. We got the A team. I mean, this is the national game of the week. Everyone's going to be paying attention to us.
It's so cool.
Washington, Baltimore, backyard brawl. That's what it's all about. Two teams this is what Maryland does. Crab cakes and football. That's what it's going to be about on Sunday. Do you care to give a score?
We're down 30-17, and we win on a final drive, 31-30.
Ooh,
that is my prediction.
I
got a little juicy with it.
Okay, I agree with you that we're going to have to score 30 to win this game. And I'm not going to, I'll say 34-31, Austin Siebert at the buzzer.
I got Siebert at the buzzer too, but it's an extra. Jaden's going to get his. Wow.
Listen, we are within our rights to think that we can beat a very good team in the Baltimore Ravens. No disrespect to our good friends, 26 and a half miles up the road. We're bringing, quite a team, quite a roster, and we're bringing some momentum. Uncle Mo is on the couch for us. He's living in our basement, and so
no doubt
that's what it's all about. I
want to know what that rushing over under is for us, because
You're taking the over.
Well,
sure, because it's going to be so.
it has to.
It has to.
They're giving up 58 yards per game, so I want to see what that is because, listen, Ken, I'm thinking
I hate it. I'm going to have to do it right away.
Jaden Daniels is making me come out of retirement too, but I'm just saying, let's find out what that thing is and let's jump all over it.
All right. Well,
look at manner of speaking. That's what I'm saying. I get it. I'm not sure who either, but I went. That's why I coded it with a. I got pretty heavy there. But I'm just saying, I don't give a shit. I believe in this guy.
I do as well. It's a different feeling. It's. I don't. We'll continue to try to explain it as we go through the weeks. Keegan's right. I mean, it's just going to be a close game, as it should be, between two teams that fancy themselves Super Bowl contenders, because they are.
In the last 20 years, when I've been fired up for a matchup, I was fired up for the fact that we were playing in the matchup, not fired up about the idea that we could win the game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It was cool to just be there after all the years of not being anywhere. I don't feel that shit anymore. I feel like I'm excited to come watch us take down the Ravens on Sunday because we're supposed to. And I love the 6.5 kickoff spread. Like, bro, have you guys been watching? Like, fine, that's okay, because 6.5 is a lot. And no one has to fly across the country. There's no points involved in any of that tomfoolery. This is not like a
the worst passing defense in the league.
I know, versus a guy who's on fire.
Who knows?
The worst passing defense in the league versus the guy with the highest passing completion percentage in the league.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Who's also 11th or 12th in yards. It's not like he's dicking around that way, and it's the second rusher. Our problem is they have a guy who's freaking incredible too.
They have two guys.
I know, but I'm worried about one of them.
I know, number 8.
I'm not worried about. Honestly, Derrick Henry to me is if he was playing without Lamar right now, I wouldn't give two shits about him. Honestly.
Okay.
Well, we'd load up and freaking.
We've played him before
and shut him down before.
That's right.
My point is this: Lamar's Lamar, dude.
I think he's been my number 1 for a while. Over Joe, over. I love Lamar over Patrick. I love Lamar Jackson as my number. I'm
a Mahomes all day. Okay. All freaking day, dude. Lamar's 1-3 in the playoffs. What the hell are you talking about, bro?
I understand.
Are you nuts?
I love Lamar.
Yeah, me too. I love him to death, but Jesus Christ, what are you talking about?
You can call me Ken. Some people just call me Ken.
No, but where the hell did that come from?
I love Lamar.
That was too many.
Sorry.
I love Lamp.
I
knew that was coming.
If
I say it first, that means you can't say it for a long time.
It's true. We'll be back in 7 days.
Patrick Mahomes, come on, man.
We'll be talking about this game.
You guys are the best, man. Ravens. Appreciate all you guys.
Everybody for hanging out with us. We're getting the CT. Join us on Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. Courtside. We're gonna get that 50-yard line spot that we had for lacrosse.
Nice.
To watch that football game, and we're gonna be talking about.
I mean, if it's courtside, at the 50,
field side.
All right. Well, I'll take the AC.
I think Steve Turner's going to hook us up. We're going to be.
Oh, that's true. Before we go, Lamar's record against the NFC East is absolute, but it should be
22-1.
Because they've always been. Well, that's ridiculous. That's effing ridiculous.
Wow, 22-1.
That is a stat that we should have mentioned previous, and I knew that in the back of my head, but I wasn't feeling so thrilled about mentioning it. But now that you said that you like Lamar over Pat Mahomes, I feel like we can say whatever we want.
It's true. I do like
they might be my favorite 2 quarterbacks besides sweet baby Jaden.
Sweet baby Jaden with your little tiny sweet baby Jaden fists. All right, here we go. We are still live. TR, EO, Keegan, Greg, Manner of Speaking, Rhett, NES. All you boys are still on. Robert Cohen. Everybody hanging out with us. J Dubs. Appreciate you guys. Everybody.
I was going to say, you got to get J Dubs in there.
Got to get J Dubs in there.
TR in the mix tonight.
We are still live. EO said it
still
best.
Live. Shout out T-Bird Strachan. He'll
We'll
be back next week, no problem.
Talking about the greatest team in our hearts and in the greatest team in the league, the Washington Commanders.
Thanks, guys.
On behalf of Kevin Ricca, I'm Ken Meringolo. On behalf of Tim Strachan, this was Thank God It's Tuesday. We are still live. Let's go.
One of us definitely farted, like 2 minutes into it.
It sounds like T.
There was something down there. I wanted to blame it on T, too.
We also might blow Baltimore out of the water by 25.
That shit happens, I'm going to lose my marbles. No, but, like, can you imagine the pleasure we've all been feeling watching?
I won't know what to think.